Hey everybody, this is Steve. I'm coming at you today on the day after Halloween. I'm wearing a hat because my hair is just out of control. I need a haircut like you wouldn't believe. I'm giving you a little video update about where we're at, and I'm mostly here to talk about the schedule, which I'm happy to say now that we're halfway through the term, I've actually figured out what it's going to be. Um, you can look at it by clicking on the link up there for it says schedule. I'm going to just talk briefly about a couple highlights for it and tell you just a little bit about how I think things are going to turn out for the rest of the term and then kind of go from there. Okay. Okay. So this coming week, it's more Kairos situation and science, and it's really about rhetorical situation. I'm really looking forward to that week because in the nutshell, that my dissertation way back when was about studying issues of rhetorical situations. So I personally find it very interesting. So hopefully you will too. Then week 10, we start to take a slightly different turn away from the stuff that we did based on the ancient rhetoric into things that are more tied in with things like Foucault and Derrida and some other more contemporary theorists. And that's the cultural studies and usability unit. And there's some readings there that are new readings for me too that are making the argument that the use of cultural studies methodologies in terms of studying technical communication. That essay, James Paradis's Text in Action, the Operator's Manual in Context and in Court, is a classic canonical work, as is the stuff by Latour that we'll read later on in the week, which is also new to me too. Although we read the Paradis thing last year, that's a fun essay to talk about. Then in week 11, part of the problem with the class is it's like an old Stephen Wright joke. You can't have everything. Where would you put it? And there's just so much that can fit into this class that I have to start making some interesting choices. And I wanted to do something having to do with visual rhetoric because a number of you are working on projects in which some of those readings may be useful for you. And I want to give people a taste of the visual rhetoric class that I believe that Nancy Allen's going to be teaching in the winter term. So, but I also want to talk about issues having to do with gender because one of the problems of technical communication specifically and rhetorical theory in general is that it is fairly gendered male, and I wanted to offer something that sort of like acknowledges that. And I had a hard time figuring out how to fit them both in, and then I kind of realized that in a very real sense, a lot of the sort of issues having to do with the visual also have to do with gender. So that's what those readings are about. It's a little bit text heavy, but the way I figured it, week 12, when we're not reading anything at all before Thanksgiving break, maybe we can kind of like, work it out between those 2 weeks. So, anyways, week 11, the rhetoric of images slash gender slash technology. You'll also notice there's one more reading there from Edward Tufte, which I guess about the space shuttle, I should say. I don't think we read anything else from him before, but that wraps up our space shuttle readings. Then we have Thanksgiving break, and then, as I say, there and now for something completely different. And this is the whole sort of fun for me of a class like this, and hopefully it's fun for you too. Is I'm picking things that, to be honest with you, I haven't read yet. And as I sit here now on November 1st, I'm not completely sure which parts of these books we're going to read. But these are two relatively recent books that discuss rhetorical theory and technology and teaching. One of is this one, Lingua Franca by Colin Brook. This came out just this year, 2009, I believe. And so we'll be talking about some selections from this book. And the other book is a very highly regarded book that came out, I think, last year. This one, Byron Hawkes, Counter History of Composition. But he talks a lot about media studies and technology studies and that sort of thing. So hopefully it'll be germane. I won't go nuts in terms of picking out the selections. And the problem is that whatever I pick, it's going to be inadequate for explaining what these two guys are up to in their books. But my hope is to give you a taste of the kind of scholarship that's going on right now, because a lot of the stuff that we've read this term has been, it goes back all the way, not only to the ancients, of course, but a lot of the even contemporary commentaries on it are 10, 15, 20 years old. So these are like right hot off the press. Okay. Then the week 14, December 7th through the 11th, there's no readings assigned, but what we're going to do starting on that Friday, December 4th, is we'll start the peer review process where basically I'll divide people up into probably groups of four, and ask you to discuss each other's projects electronically. So that means that around December 4th or so, you can work this out with individuals in your group. You're going to need to have some version of your final research project done. It doesn't have to be completely done, but you've got to have enough of something done so that people in your group have something to talk about. And you're going to want that because you want to get the as much feedback from other people in your group as you can. So it's a win-win thing for everybody for you to finish that as early as you can. The week of December 7th through December 11th, all you really need to worry about is working on peer review and working revising your final projects. As I say on the calendar, you should wrap up peer review by that Wednesday of that week 14, and is due on December 11th. Now, do mark that on your calendar, that December 11th date for your research project being done. It's really important that it's done then because I want to have time to give you some feedback and comments on it. And if I collect it on December 11th, I'll be able to do that. If you delay that in some fashion, I'm not going to be able to do that, and that would be bad. Also on December 11th, I will post and we can discuss briefly, because it'll be very straightforward, the take-home final. Of course, it's take-home, it's an electronic class. What I'm getting at is there's a short final, and we'll talk about the details there. And then the end of time for the class is December 18th. That means everything absolutely positively has to be in no later than December 18th by the end of the day. I will be posting grades for this class as soon as I possibly can because I am leaving town on either the 19th or the 20th. So it's my interest. I can't remember if it's the 19th or the 20th. So it's all of our interest to wrap things up then. The last thing I'll mention is, and I haven't put it on the calendar yet, but I will post it underneath here in terms of a Doodle calendar thing, is some dates for possible face-to-face gatherings again. I thought that worked out really well the last time we did that. So I'd like to propose that we possibly look at, let's see, what week would it be? It would be Friday, November 20th, which is the Friday before Thanksgiving break, as a good time to get together to talk about stuff and just, have a good time and, have a sandwich, have a beer, have a soda, whatever. And then the other time to get together would be at the end of time, which would be a real, truly celebratory thing because it would be all done on November 18th. Again, that's the Doodle calendar below. I think that's it. If you have any questions, comments, etc., please comment below. And otherwise, keep up the good work. See you online.